Hello, welcome to Inclusion on the Slopes Weekly. I am your host, Dr. Geraldine Davis, and I am so delighted for you to be here today. In today's segment, we are concentrating on the 5 tips that I use when it comes to having a growth-focused approach to expand my inclusive lens. So, the very first tip that I use when it comes to just understanding where I want to embark on when it comes to my inclusive journey is I start from where I would like to be. So you may wonder, why would I start, far off? So I'm big on reverse engineering. It's always been something that has served me in the sense of, if I know I want to expand my relationship abilities with people and really to engage in a sense where I bring people together, or if I'm wanting to increase inclusion in an organizational setting, whatever the case may be, I think about what's the vision, where do I want to go, what's my intention to get there. And that really helps me formulate, in a sense, this brainstorming where I'm very nonlinear, thinking of ideas and thoughts, and I don't really judge my thoughts initially, so that allows me to be a little bit creative and allows me to be exploratory and understanding, okay, where am I wanting to go on my inclusive journey? What people do I need to connect with? How do I make sure that they have a safe space when I do connect with those individuals? So once again, my first tip, start from where you would like to be. My second tip is to then reverse all the way back to my current and present state. So start with where I am. And so that means understanding that, okay, what information do I need to learn? What tools do I need? What resources do I need? Also, do I need to allocate resources to be able to embark on the journey? And what I really think people get caught up in when it comes to just inclusion or understanding how to understand those who are different from ourselves is that we get caught in this idea of knowing how to start. And I think really it's about assessing how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. So I like to start with the think, feel, act cycle, in reference to, what am I thinking? What do I know about this particular topic or these particular individuals? I'm always exploring the historical context associated with how people came to their thoughts or conclusions, etc. And then also, most importantly, I believe in understanding that everyone has their own lived experience. So my second tip is to start with where you are. What do you need to do differently in this specific moment to expand your lens, expand your perspective? And once again, the think, feel, act cycle is really the catalyst to bringing that to fruition. Now, my third tip for concentrating on growth is that I utilize a lived experience approach. So that's actually more of a research term, but it entails understanding that everyone engages with the world differently. And so they have a historical context associated with how they engage with the world. So what they do every day, the people that they're surrounded by, and they're accurate in the way that they view the world based upon their lens and how they engage. And so when it comes to growth, I'm also wanting to partner with others, and in partnership, I understand that they bring a lived experience that I do not have. So I think it's important to understand, when you do have a lived experience approach, it does allow you to connect with people in more of a humanistic way. And you understand that they bring their beliefs, their values, their attitudes, all the above with them, with who they are. But when you're able to focus on that humanistic component, you're able to see yourself in really almost everyone. So it's been really cool to use this particular tip because it allows me to connect with, just to be honest, to connect with strangers, which is pretty awesome. So this is the third tip for when it comes to being growth focused and pertaining to inclusion in particular. My fourth tip when it comes to being growth focused, as well as encompassing more inclusive behaviors in a lens, is that I'm aware that I have to track my behavior. So I'm big on leveraging and looking into my strengths and my opportunities, and I track them on a yearly basis. So because I track my behavior, I know that there are things that I've done in the past. There are things that I no longer do. I also keep track of my emotional triggers. So how am I triggered in certain instances or situations? I craft strategies based on those triggers to allow me to still be able to engage. So when it comes to being able to be growth focused, and like I said, particularly expanding my inclusive lens, I really dig into being able to create strategies so I could always connect with people. To me, like I said, the biggest influence when it comes to inclusion is being able to connect and develop relationships. Once you have that skill set, it does permit you to be able to connect with, like I said, literally anyone. But I do address the fact that I track my behavior. So I know that certain things that used to trigger me no longer trigger me. And it's pretty exciting to see my own developmental growth. So last but not least, my fifth tip is I believe in leveling up once I get comfortable. So if I am comfortable in any situation or circumstance, I I use that safe space to get uncomfortable yet again. So if that's being, even when it comes to inclusion on the slopes, I didn't know anyone really in the snow sports industry. And, I went to Outdoor Retailer last year, which is a big major show. And I walked in knowing very few people. But for me, it was impactful for me to connect with people and find a way to connect. So, even talking to people like, oh, is this your first OR? Oh, this is my first OR. And is there anything I need to know? So being able to connect with people in that way was in a sense my level up. So I'm good with I'm very good at putting myself in uncomfortable situations by knowing like my safe space is that I show up, I engage, I connect, I'm excited. And so I'm able to engage in very uncomfortable situations with people that I do not know, have no idea who they are, but it allows me to leverage once again that I am comfortable in the sense of connecting to others and I can engage in uncomfortable settings. So that's it as far as my tips are concerned for growth focus. Please be sure to check out the next segment that we're concentrating on with inclusion on the slopes. And I look forward to continue to engage with you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.